My third field report is on Patti Smith's memoir and autobiography, Just Kids. This field report will likely be a bit shorter than the other ones because rather than reporting on an entire movie or album, it's only about the first third of the book. I'm really liking it so far. It reads sort of more like fiction than it does autobiography, or at least I think so. And my filmmaker brain is already making it into a movie in my head. I've had these little visual shots in my head for certain things, and I can see this color palette in my brain already. Let me see if I can find them. Right, there was this like wintry sort of section about Patti's and Robert's first winter together, and I just kept seeing these certain shots where Patti described how Robert would wait for her at the end of the day and warm up her hands while he boiled water and took off her coat and her shoes, and I just saw that so clearly in my head. And she talked about how on Christmas Eve they both worked pretty late hours and then they took the subway to Patti's home, and I saw that in my head as well, of them just standing in the subway on Christmas Eve. I think it's just so good. I don't like to glamorize the extremely lower class life, but I think that Patti does add a really great bit of romanticism to her own life, which I think is also a theme and sort of a recurring theme in the book of this idea of artists' sense of freedom, sort of the sense of freedom outweighing the captivity of a financially stable life, she keeps repeating the phrase that she's finally free, even though she's still a slave to capitalism, as we all are, but she feels much more creative freedom, I think, which is very relatable in an artist's world. She goes starving, but there was a sentence. I'll quote it. This is on page 56. Often we'd stand in the cold on the corner of St. James Place in eyeshot of the Greek diner and Jake's art supply store, debating how to spend our few dollars, a toss-up between grilled cheese sandwiches and art supplies. Sometimes, unable to distinguish the greater hunger, Robert would keep nervous watch in the diner while I, filled with the spirit of Genet, pocketed the much-needed brass sharpener or colored pencils. That is so good. Are you kidding me? That's so good. I went into the book without any real knowledge of Patti Smith at all, basically. So this that could be contributing to why it feels more like a fictional book to me, because I don't know much about this real person, so she feels a bit more like a character. But she also writes in a way that this exposition, this backstory, really feels magical and stuff, which I think is probably just a theme in her real life, but to the reader it makes everything feel nostalgic and whimsical. I also think that this is a great view and explanation of what the late 60s were like, especially in New York City. Patti's basically homeless for a while there, but she seems to be doing okay, apparently. She's just sort of freelancing her way through life and eating when she can and sleeping where she can, and like I said, it seems to be true freedom to her. She does talk about how the hunger sort of outweighs, her bliss sometimes, but that's bound to happen. I'm excited to see when music comes into play in her life, because so far her and Robert's life and relationship has been really based on visual art, particularly in drawing and sketching, which is very cool, very interesting upbringing. I sort of had a similar childhood fascination with drawing, but later got into music and film, so that's exciting. I'm excited to see where it goes. I love the writing style. I love the romanticism of the poor artist's lifestyle. It reminds me a little bit of Rent, the Broadway musical, which is a little bit stupid, but hey. similar themes at least. I want to apologize retroactively for the background noise. My sister's watching a movie in the other room, and also my windows rattle a lot, so sorry about that. But yeah, thanks for listening.